My last video was ones to watch in the Champions League, so now the Europa League. There's some players that can make their mark in the European competition, but who do you need to look out for? Salzburg were one of the standout teams in the Champions League this season because of the exciting players in their team. Of course, Erling Haaland has left. However, Hwang Hee-chan is still playing for them and he was just as good in the Champions League too. He was able to score 3 goals and get 3 assists, along with 6 goals and 7 assists in the Austrian Bundesliga. Hwang does play as a striker for Salzburg, but the missing link-up with Haaland will be a difference in the big matches. In fact, Hwang assisted twice for Haaland in the Champions League. Whoever comes into the team for Haaland will have plenty of quality around them and good service from Hwang. He was able to play 2.3 key passes per game, along with completing 1.3 dribbles per game. With him being a striker, he had 2.3 shots per game, which is now what makes him so important. He can score goals, he can create chances, and against Eintracht Frankfurt, Hwang will be the key player, making him one to watch. In previous seasons, there has been doubts over Adama Traore's end product. As a winger, you'd expect him to be taking on people, and from that creating chances for the forward, but this hadn't been the case. This season though, we've seen a completely different player, and what we're seeing in Adama Traore is scarily good. We all know that his pace is out of this world, on the level of someone like Mbappe. It's really tough for defenders to keep up with him, and this of course is the reason he's been able to complete 5.5 dribbles per game in the Premier League, more than any other player in the Premier League this season. In second is Wilfried Zaha with 4.7, and in third Alan Saint-Maximin from Newcastle with 4.4. He scored 4 goals and got 7 assists in the league this season, a huge improvement on last season's 1 goal and 1 assist in 29 Premier League games. Traore is the type of player that can change a game in a few seconds. If Wolves are struggling against Espanyol, it may only take 1 run of the ball from Traore to flip the game. And what he's been able to create is a partnership with Raul Jimenez. Traore has assisted for him 5 times this season, making it the 2nd best partnership in the Premier League. Plus, Jimenez has assisted for Traore 3 times. And with this in the Europa League, Wolves could definitely be looking to go far in the competition. Adama Traore is for sure one to watch. Myron Boadu has only just turned 19, and in the Eredivisie this season, he's been tearing it up. 13 goals and 6 assists in just 20 games, showing signs that he has a bright future in football. And he's been able to show that quality in the Europa League too, with 4 goals and 2 assists. He was unlucky to not have this breakthrough last season. After 5 games, he got an injury, which meant he had to wait until this season to get going again. Myron is the top scorer for Alkmaar this season and the joint 2nd top assister. So even at 19 years of age, this is why he's the key player for them. Their opponents are LASK, currently top of the Austrian Bundesliga, conceding the least in the league with 18, and one of the few teams who only conceded 4 in the Europa League group stages. They recently beat RB Salzburg 3-2, lining up with a 3-4-3. So this game is going to be very interesting. Will Alkmaar and Boadu find it difficult to break down LASK? The Europa League knockouts is the place for him to start making his name. Can the young striker be the guy to take them forward through the competition? When I wrote Ziyech as a one to watch, he hadn't yet signed for Chelsea, which now makes this one a lot more interesting. He was one of the star players for Ajax in their Champions League run last season, so a move for him has been expected. Last season he scored 16 goals and got 17 assists in 29 Eredivisie games, a crazily good record. Then this season in the Champions League he's scored 2 and got 5 assists, but Ajax were only able to qualify for the Europa League by finishing 3rd in their group. When they won 3-0 against Valencia, Ziyech was able to score 1 in this game. He was also able to complete more take-ons than any Ajax player with 3 and create more chances than any other Ajax player with 3 also. He has missed the last couple of games through an injury, however it seems like he'll be back for the Europa League games. The reason he's one to watch for me is because he has so many attacking qualities. His vision for the pass, through balls and key passes are natural to him. And if Ajax win a free kick, it's always a great opportunity with Ziyech taking it. He has the ability to find the back of the net. And you might remember quite recently when he scored a free kick against Chelsea, maybe he didn't exactly mean it, but the technique was fantastic. Ajax are one of the favourites to win and Ziyech will be a big part in making that happen. Inter Milan were in a tough Champions League group, Barcelona and Borussia Dortmund taking the top 2 spots. They're doing fantastically well in the Serie A this season, and I've picked Lautaro Martinez as their one to watch. I could have easily gone for Lukaku, but he's the obvious one and everyone knows how dangerous he can be. Martinez though is having a much improved second season at Inter Milan, and he will be an important player for them. In the Champions League this season, he was their top scorer with 5 goals in their 6 group games, and Martinez is a more mobile player than Lukaku, getting involved in the game a lot more. In Inter's Inter's 3-1 win over Napoli, Martinez made 44 touches compared to Lukaku's 26, and from that he attempted a lot more dribbles, completing 2 out of an attempted 7. And also the 2-0 win over Borussia Dortmund is perfect in showing the role of Martinez. He made 7 ball recoveries in comparison to Lukaku's 1. He's collecting the ball and taking on players. Lukaku is always looking to get in positions to score, so this is the reason why the link-up works so well. Martinez is doing a lot more work off the ball, possibly attempting to find Lukaku, but scoring himself, as we can see by how many he has scored. The ability to drive and bring the ball out from deep and take on players. This is what makes him an entertaining player and one to watch in the Europa League. Moussa Diaby signed for Bayer Leverkusen last summer for £13.5 million from PSG. He's slowly been brought into the team and has recently started impressing, keeping his place in the first team. 3 goals and 2 assists in 9 starts in the Bundesliga, coming on as a substitute 7 times. He's not afraid to take on people. In the Europa League game versus Juventus, he attempted 10 dribbles, completing 5 of them. And in that game, he came so close to scoring a fabulous goal in the top left corner, taking a powerful shot from outside the box and hitting the post. Their knockout game is against Porto, a strong side in the competition, and possibly the pace of Diaby could make the difference for Leverkusen. Even if he isn't a starter in the team, his impact from the bench could be huge, and this was actually the case in the last game versus Union Berlin. He came on at the break and scored Leverkusen's 2nd goal. This is what he could potentially do versus Porto, which is why he is a one to watch for me. Comment below who you think will be a one to watch in the Europa League and I'll reply with my thoughts. The Discord server is available to join. We're starting to grow a nice community over there, so come join us, link in description. I recommend that you don't miss out on future videos. Subscribe to Route 1 and like the video if you did enjoy.